Dr. Amirah Halperin is an associate researcher at the Hebrew University's Truman Institute, focusing specifically on the use of social media by Palestinians. She joins me now from our Tel Aviv studio. Dr. Halperin, welcome.
Thank you.
What does Minister Erdan mean when he talks about incitement on social media?
When we talk about incitement in social media, is basically the major change that we can see in recent years in the Palestinian arena. Since 1948, there is one guideline that guides most of the, or many of the Palestinians, having said that we have to be cautious and remember that other Palestinians hold different opinions. But most of the Palestinians believe since 1948 that the problem of the Palestinians is to be blamed by the Israelis' occupation, so-called, and the IDF.
So is he talking about posts that deliberately incite to violence, have anti-Israel content? What specifically is this incitement?
This incitement, we can divide it into two. One thing is we can see the whole dialogue in Facebook, in Twitter, in other social media, which talks about the Palestinians' loss of their homes in 1948. They speak about the historical perspective, the historical issues, talking about the Nakba, about the loss of homes. And this is one thing that leads to incitement, because once they speak about the blame, and they blame the Israeli government in losing their house, this is already enough for terrorists to take this further. The second thing is specifically referring to terrorist attacks that have been occurred or encouraging terrorists to take terrorist attacks.
What efforts is the Israeli government taking to crack down on this phenomenon?
Can you repeat, please?
What steps is the Israeli government taking to crack down on this online incitement? We mentioned perhaps possible legislation to force compliance from social media networks.
Israel can. I don't believe that Israel can. I mean, that I should speak about the policy at the moment, really in details. But Israel is only one side of the game. Israel has to work on it. And there is also, of course, the international community in terms of the Facebook and other international networks. And another thing that's important to say is that the Palestinian incitement, where they operate in the online and offline arena. Once an online incitement would be stopped, there is still a major problem in Gaza that there is lack of control there in the offline arena. So even if we see terrorists that going out and taking terror attacks and incite for terrorism, there is no enough power and people that will deal with this inside the territories.
Dr. Halperin, the end of last week saw a return to terrorism that we hoped was largely behind us. Should we expect these brutal incidents to be a one-off, or should we brace for a more serious uptick in violence?
I believe that the violence will continue as far as we can see it now. And we see that the situation is very serious when we talk about the incitement. It's a very serious situation because the people in Gaza and the young people, we see that they're ready to go out as alone, and the young people, as we saw in the recent case, 17-year-old boy, to go out and to carry out those attacks. And we have also to remember that it's very difficult to sort out this problem simply because of the reason that since 1948, this is the main perception among the Palestinians that Israel is to be blamed in this situation. And therefore, until a more comprehensive solution will be found, the negotiation will proceed, the problem of terrorism will not be tackled.
Well, in light of that, we speak frequently of lone wolf terrorism. How far are these attacks genuinely spontaneous, and how far are organized terrorist groups really involved somewhere in the background?
Most of them, as we see now, were not linked to a group, but of course there are things behind the scenes, and even young terrorists and young Palestinians, they have their own perceptions, but it's linked to an ideology of a movement. It is linked to ideology of people that they see every day, people that they speak with every day in the online and offline arenas. And another important point to remember is that it's not only a local phenomenon. I mean, we're not talking about only a links in Gaza and the West Bank, but in the international Palestinian community outside the Palestinian territories as well. We can see their incitement to terrorism as well. We can see there people that act alone, as you said, but there are also people that cooperate with Hamas in other countries, in European and the US, for example, countries.
Dr. Halperin, thank you for your time.
Thank you.